Welcome back. You're watching Morning Express. This Friday, we are taking a look at what's making headlines around the world in the entertainment industry, but also elsewhere. And DJ Steve Jr., his Twitter handle is at DJ Steve_Jr. And he is actually one of the, he says he's the best reggae music DJ. Is that true?
I'm one of the best.
One of the, arguably, one of the best. So there's this song called Free Up Black People. I hope that's the right title for it, yeah? So as a reggae fan, you want to play that song for us? Because we were having a conversation here about how, in a way, as Africans or as black people, we're trying to distance ourselves from being black. But then again, there's another growing movement that is appreciating, increasingly appreciating its ancestry. So let's have that song. By the way, I hope you know this song as we speak. Free Up Black People. Yes, that's the one. We're just going to have it play in the background as we go on with this conversation. So Steve, before we actually took the news updates, we were talking about how a lot of us, you know, are embracing skin bleaching. Not me, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people on the African continent are embracing skin bleaching chemicals. Do I call them chemicals or creams? Yeah, and then we are denying our ancestry. But now there's a growing population of people on the African continent who are saying it's now more than ever that we need to be more African. All the way from the United States or wherever around the world that we have the black community. They're coming out strong, and I guess we've seen hashtags like Black Lives Matter and things like that as part of a way of making, sending the message across. So, you know,
it's him.
Yeah, it was Smitter actually, yeah?
Oh.
Yeah, and you were saying so many things about this whole black movement.
It was because Nzinzi had talked about people who look for ancestry.
Yeah.
It's good to be black. Me, after Obama and everything I said, it's so right. Yeah? You can get annoyed in hotels. If waiters want to go and serve people who look Zuckerbergish. But that's not how people coming here from America, at Black America, pretending that it's Kunta Kinte. Their history was erased during the
Kunta Kinte
Atlantic.
history was erased?
Those ones there, at Kwanzaa and so on. I'm saying, you know, people like, I was reading about Chomli the other day, when he thankfully left us, Tom, yeah, and I say thankfully left us, alikuwa kimaliza wa Afrika sana. But I discovered that the Delamares can trace
their ancestry.
Yeah, their ancestry, their nightmare Delamere ancestry all the way into 1300 with King Richards and so on. But my grandfather, me only know the grandfather was a night runner, a great grandfather,
and he was a night runner. So do you run too? You know, this thing runs in the family.
You're not one of the night runners.
In the family.
It runs.
To answer your story.
All right, so let's not lose our line of thought. So I'm going to hear your final remarks on this one. Being black and having a choice whether or not to wear your natural hair, you know, that's a choice that everyone has to make. But then again, do you think we are sending the right message by even going ahead to protest and say, allow us to do us, allow us to wear our hair natural? Steve.
Go ahead.
I think the greatest revolutions in the world have always come through protest. I don't remember anything that came good. Even Jesus Christ himself, it was a lot of protest.
It was war. He went inside the synagogue.
Right, and it was war.
Yes.
And so if it takes protest and go to the streets for these guys to get their voices heard, then let it be.
Yeah. All right, okay, Zinzi?
For me, like I began off by saying, it's not just an issue of hair. It's an issue of respect, dignity, and allowing the black woman or the black girl to be who she is in her own skin. It's also more than just that. It's fighting racism and the mentality that only beauty can only be crowned in a certain way. We always say that hair is the crown on a woman. So why can an African girl not wear her crown, even though it's natural, even though it's an afro? And I believe, like, as society, both in their workplace, in school, as we've seen in South Africa, and even at our homes, encourage the young black girls to be comfortable in their own skin, to know that black melanine natural hair is beautiful the way it is. So for me, it goes beyond the conversation of just having an afro hair. It's respect, dignity for the black woman. You shouldn't be told how to be or who to be.
And it saves money,
I
right?
absolutely agree with you.
If you look at it
I agree with you, and you began by saying that people are embracing bleaching and things like that. There is absolutely, you know, when we say do you, it means what you're comfortable with. As yourself, if you're light skin, we are not going to say there is anything wrong with that. If you want to be light skin, that's okay. But if you want your hair natural, also it is okay. It shouldn't be that there's a way that hair has to be. And there's a song, Surely I'm Not My Hair. We just want to say we are our hair. And there's confirmation, natural, and everything else that comes with it.
Nothing,
Nothing, everything.
Okay, I hope whoever got Smita.
Yes.
Finally, about this blackness.
No, those Wazungus in South Africa must have they already had appetite with their Boer language, their krals. Yeah? What business do they have still harassing?
Yeah.
They harassed Wakina Mandela, they harassed Africans for so long. Now they're harassing high school black girls.
All right.
Let whites stay with their hair and their lack of
We're
melanin.
not asking them to
Yes.
tangle their
And we
hair.
will stay the way we are. All right, so one thing is we have how many continents around the world? And these continents have different races. So I think the only way that we can learn to appreciate ourselves is just by being us. Because how else are we going to know that, you never know, there are people out there in Asia who'd like to have our hair. So yeah, it's a choice. It's all a choice. So let's now take a look at what's happening in the papers. The Pulse, to start with, Queens of the Pack. They're famous and have earned respect across the continent thanks to their singing talent. Some are curvaceous, others skinny. Yeah?
Black.
From
Like-
the
like-
tall and
like black.
petite, Pulse now brings you the top 10 hottest female singers in Africa.
I
The
don't think
2016
I don't think the
edition.
debate
Yeah.
about black is going to go because this
It's
is
not gonna
it now.
go.
Yeah,
No.
this is Africa for you, and that is what Pulse is giving you today. If I may, just a little bit of display, camera, and Joy, we're just talking about the greatest musicians that we have, and today we just reflected on the female artists that we have. And again, black, looking beautiful and all that. And I was just talking about South Africa. You can see the little photo of their Lyra, one of the
Yes.
greatest female artists I know,
a great
who came here and
vocalist.
every man was like, oh gosh, can we have a VIP ticket and we can
Yeah.
prove something?
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is basically great artists who are talented, but also who have great looks. That we sometimes don't appreciate that. Yes, you have a great talent in
Yeah.
music, but also have
need
great
to look,
looks, and that's why some of them have gone into acting and all that.
That's
and,
right.
and one of them is actually our cover girl
Vanessa
today,
Day.
where we just broke the rules again. Vanessa is just our neighbor.
Yeah,
In
from
Tanzania, and she's well affiliated with Kenyan people, here,
Yeah.
Nairobians and all that.
That's right.
And so that's our cover story, just for guys to pick up, and we're just saying, these are the queens of 2016, well profiled all the way from Mozambique and many other countries. But again,
so
talking...
what criteria did you use to come up with these top 10? Because I'm seeing Victoria Kimani, I'm seeing
Right.
Vanessa Day, I'm seeing Tiwa Savage, I'm seeing Lyra from South Africa, and Wajay from Nigeria.
You see, when Pulse is and Didi is the voice of the people in showbiz, I mean, you just...
Yeah.
So what you decide
decision
on
was
is
made.
what it
The
is.
decision was made, but basically, of course, a lot of research, and this conversation is gonna go on next
Yes.
week, where we have a lot of female artists who are already in the Coke studio, which is yet to be unveiled, and many of them were also not just put there because they have great talent, but because they also have the pluses that make an artist, because that's an element in art that
You must
also
have,
should be
you must
looked
have the
at.
X factor.
All right.
I mean, what makes it, you must have the X factor.
And speaking of the X Factor, there's on page 4 of the Pulse, there's something about the new cool, yeah?
Yeah.
Guys are no longer shy about their items that were previously considered feminine.
When you're talking about the hair thing and everything, I just kept on thinking about this story. You know, the new cool, and you know, Crystal Kusa, who's also a
Really,
fashionista, just went down and fished something that could be frustrating to some people. The new cool is not that man who's looking as, you know,
As you.
nice trouser, you know,
Yeah.
well-cut pants and all that. But the guy was a bit also twisted. We have a guy here who has a dress And we have guys who are going.
Will Smith's
Will
son.
Smith's son, eh? That's Will Smith's son, man.
Seriously.
It's
All right.
Steve, my bro, you know we're always together, and I love Crystal, eh?
Right.
But this is not cool, eh? This is to me.
It's in quotes.
No,
That's
to
why it's
me,
in quotes. That's why it's in quotes.
this is
All
gay.
right, that's
this is very gay.
Magic Johnson's son, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This
He has a
Magic-
show.
Magic
He has a new show
Johnson's
now.
son is probably trying to come out of the closet. Eh?
Which one?
Probably or he is.
This
yeah.
one came out.
Yeah, they-
Already.
yeah,
He's out.
yeah,
EJ is out.
yeah.
Is it, by the
You
way,
see,
he's EJ. Yeah.
if you are gay, yeah,
He's EJ. That's his name.
if you are gay, yeah, and you want to cross dress, kama unataka kuvaa skirt, and you get a good designer, stop trying to tell all of us that this is the new cool, that this is how we should dress. Eh?
You know, there's a story that Zinzi did over the weekend, and maybe that actually also sort of fits into this conversation, especially with EJ, born this way, you know. I don't know if he's gay,
No,
but
he
I
is.
think he has,
He is.
you know,
EJ
he
is
is, yeah,
gay,
but
yes.
it all came from the fact that he had, you know, a sexual differentiation
Yes,
disorder.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it all came from. And then he just decided that his female hormones were much
They're
stronger.
yeah.
Yeah, than his male hormones. But I don't know about Will Smith's son. I don't know about him.
No, Will Smith's son just dresses this way. He hasn't come out clearly on his preferences. He's still always being seen with girls.
Yeah.
Actually,
Gender, right?
yeah. He's always being seen with girls, and they go out, and he's been caught kissing and things like that. But sometimes maybe he needs a bit of time. He's in his teens, so how then would you be able to know?
Yeah,
but
maybe
dressing
he
like
decides.
that, I think he's already decided.
All right.
You know, it's fashion and gender again, and like she says, we even saw guys yesterday going to the streets. Was it yesterday? Petitioning things in Parliament about their gender
Yes.
and their gender issues.
Yeah.
I think Crystal is just flowing with it
With
as
what's
it is
there, yeah.
now there, and it's for the pastors to pick and decide. Get back to us and tell us: is this the new cool or not? Is a question mark? Quote. So is it or is it
In
not?
terms of
Do I want
fashion,
to wear
I think
a
for me,
skirt
in
on
terms of
Saturday?
fashion, if we want to look at it in terms of fashion, and I like that the
So
cool
it's
is
my
in
dress,
whatever.
my choice
Yeah,
sort of
it's
thing.
it's about the choice of fashion. But then, just recently, last month, I think in July, Calvin Klein was also being questioned about wanting to make males look more female. So on the runway, that discussion has been going on whether people can be a certain way. In the fashion world, I think everything is acceptable. It's creativity.
So I guess it's the new
yeah.
normal. Well, guys, thank
We're
you so much
normalizing the normal. I
for
mean,
coming on today. I really appreciate that. Adembo Odera, who is a pop culture expert, and Smita, a writer with the Nairobian. We also had Zinzi, a reporter with KTN News, and Stevens Mwendo, who is the editor for The Pulse. Thank you all so much for taking part. We do value your feedback as well on Twitter. And Adembo, thank you so much for responding to that question that was asked by someone about whether or not your hair is natural. Let's now take a break as DJ Steve Jr. plays us some music to get a feel of our Reggae Friday.